Jim Holley, Supercross Live on supercrossonline.com. Well, welcome to this week's Toyota Tailgate Talk. Like each and every week, I tell you, we're going to go behind the scenes. We're going to go behind the scenes with Dunlop's own Broc Glover. Broc, I got to ask you, we're heading to the East Coast. It's Atlanta. Tracks are a little bit more softer than out west.
Yeah, you know, we've certainly had our issues with the weather in the West Coast. I mean, it's been unseasonably cold, and we've had some rain, and you know, it's just been tough for the track builders themselves, even when they go to put the tracks in and to deal with the rain and the weather, and the tracks have been a challenge. I mean, each one's been a little bit different. We had very, very cold weather in Phoenix. We had wet weather in San Diego and some of the other places too. So, you know, it's kind of nice to get inside the domes and the East Coast where the dirt's a little bit better.
You mentioned the domes. Last week we were in Arlington, a dome. I saw one of your engineers, Hakita, with the durometer out there. He's taking pictures of the blue groove and everything. I mean, that's good information that relates back to the consumer.
Well, for us, I mean, we use all this information. I mean, we work with most of the teams out here that are in the AMA Supercross, and being able to work with all these top riders and top teams, you know, from Kawasaki to Suzuki to KTM to Honda, you know, it really does help. And there's some smart people in those teams. They pass on information that they have to us. We're able to, you know, transfer that over to tire development. We're always trying new things to improve our tires out here, and then as soon as we learn it, we get it to the consumer as fast as we can. Anybody who's ever changed a tire in cold weather, if you live back east where it gets, you know, snows, and you go, oh boy, this tire changes a lot harder when it's 45 degrees in my garage than it does when it's 80 or 90 degrees. Well, it's no different. You know, when you start a race with a tire, the ambient temperature outside might be literally, we had Phoenix, we got down into the 30s at night. And so when you have a tire that's at 30 degrees when it starts, it's certainly that, it's made of rubber. It's going to be a harder feel than it would if it was 80 or 90 degrees outside. So, you know, it certainly, it makes a difference to know what the temperature is, and that's why we're always checking those statistics.
Well, not only that, sometimes, you know, when you come to a stadium, they bring in a road base, it's got rocks mixture in, and then they bring the dirt in. Over the years, it kind of gets mixed in, and at some point, you know, it's a little bit wet, and it's a hard base underneath, so it's very hard to get traction there.
Yeah, you know, you're describing San Diego perfectly to a T. You know, at first some of the riders were saying, God, there's a couple of corners I'm sliding all over out there, and we're thinking, you know, these guys just expect the world. And then afterwards, I was like, no, they're exactly right, and you're right. You know, we mentioned as they put tracks in, and if it's raining during the week in an open stadium, they do have to bring in a road base, a material that's designed to be very, very firm and to be stable for a long period of time. Well, it's almost like concrete under there, but unfortunately there are stones and things mixed in that. Then when they put in what we consider the topsoil, in Southern California it was adobe clay, and they put that on top of the surface, and if it's got any moisture or wetness to it, then you've got wet adobe clay on top of road base or stones, and it gets very, very slippery. It's like riding on slippery concrete. And so, you know, the riders, they do their very best on it. I think a couple of the people from the Feld and Dirtworks said, yeah, it's about time for a couple of these tracks to start over with some new dirt, because it's gotten so contaminated over the years.
All right, well, you heard it from Broc Glover, a former teammate of mine, a multi-time national champion. That's it for this week's Toyota Tailgate Talk. Make sure you check us out Wednesday nights on that East Coast, 5 p.m. on supercrossonline.com. And don't forget about Thursdays also, East Coast time, 5 p.m. after the checkered flag with Ralph, Ricky, and Jeff.